Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, everyone? Here I am with Joe King and me, Ryan Neo Wayne, and we're going to be covering episode 4 of Survivor 49. This one was, I would say, the first half of it was interesting, and then the second half, it was like, all right, is it going to be Matt or is it going to be Jason? But Matt was getting a bit more screen time, so I'm thinking it's him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really care about those two because we're just not being shown them very much, to be honest. I mean, Jason has literally gotten 5 confessionals now in 4 episodes. I mean, like as a viewer, I wish almost he wins instead of Matt because at least Matt can like occasionally get some confessional whereas
Yeah.
Jason is like just a background prop right now for the season. So um
Yeah, which I find crazy because he A has been solving a lot of the puzzles, so we know he's at least has a strength there. B, because of, like on the mat, he was like, "Oh yeah, I was an alternate and stuff like that, and here I am." You would think that because he spoke there, they would give him a bit more content and build up that story a little bit more, but they haven't really done anything with him. He's just kind of there. And
yeah.
like part of that was like, well, he hasn't been a tribal council as well. So maybe because original Yellow Tribe got hella under edited. But like even this episode, when his name was on the chopping block, he's on the bottom of the other tribe, of his new tribe.
Yeah.
We didn't see too much. It was like, I might play my shot in the dark.
Yeah, yeah, that's been a problem I've also been seeing a lot people saying with the season especially is the yellow tribe just I don't know, so they must have done something to piss off production because if you actually take the other two tribes, the blue tribe, if you take away Alex and Sophie, the 4 people who got voted out have about the same amount of confessionals as everyone, all 6 players on the yellow tribe. And those are people out of the game early. If you take away Savannah and Rizzo from the red tribe, the other 4 people of the red tribe have more confessionals than everyone on the yellow tribe.
Yeah, even the original Yellow Tribe on the new Kale tribe,
Yeah.
you can even see that the focus and all the confessionals we've been really seeing from there were from Sage and Shannon, and like, or even about Sage or Shannon, whereas like, like it's so focused on like people from like Uli and
Yeah.
I think we got a little bit of stuff from Alex in that, which also I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. It baffles me that he is 26.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you're 26?
Yeah.
How am
Yeah.
I older than you?
Yeah, that blue tribe, by the way, the only person in double digits is Alex in confessionals. Everyone else is under 10 confessionals, which is, man, like I like that's crazy. I don't know how that
I'm
happens.
surprised. I'm surprised they didn't just change that tribe color to purple because damn.
Yeah, it is pretty insane. I mean, they clearly know who they want to focus on the season, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Like that's basically that's basically what they're doing this season. So yeah, and obviously Rizzo and Savannah, we always knew we were going to get a lot of confessionals, and they're good. That they are obviously good confessional givers. So like, I get why you're giving them confessionals and everything, but usually in like 95% of these survivor seasons they try to make one person on each tribe somewhat like competitive in terms of like being able to be up there in confessionals. They have not tried it this season. They
Well,
have
at
said
least not with the OG Hina tribe because like I'm trying to be like, who has really been the voiceover there?
it's Stephen, but he's only
And
got 9 confessionals, and like even he kind of is not really do anything after the premiere. Like he had 5 confessionals in the premiere, and now he's getting like 1 or 2 confessionals an episode.
Like I feel like it shifts main characters over there sometimes.
Yeah,
Like, like Matt got a decent chunk, and then Kristina had a pretty decent episode this one where she got to talk about, her mom
mhm.
and like her mom's struggle with addiction, and
Yeah,
all of that, and then like bonding with Shannon that way.
yeah.
MC last episode found the idol, and then,
Mhm.
like she was even like an episode before that being like, I don't know if I want to be a fourth in this alliance because if you're coming to me and you already have 2 other people,
Yeah,
I'm the fourth. So
yeah,
like, but even then, that those 3 that were in the original were getting screen time. So it's like really tough to like say. And like Sophie, Purple Sophie, we'll call it.
yeah.
There's Sophie screen time and Purple Sophie. Uh, Barely shown. I think her most memorable moment was this
Yeah,
episode,
and this might
which
explain why she's not getting shown because Jeff was like, "How dare you not be happy with the fruits that we're giving you?"
it's like also I know that original Hina tribe had it well, like they were getting fish and stuff like that, but it's like
Yeah,
no, it's food. It's food, and especially when you're on
yeah,
a disaster tribe where you don't have flint fire or any of the luxuries that you had on your previous tribe, be happy for what you get because if the Kiwi
yeah.
tribe is cursed like that, you don't want it.
I
You don't
think
want that to
I
happen.
think Sophie must have like just watched the 30s in Survivor because in the 30s, yeah, there were like big buffets and like like you could go to fucking Outback and all these places all the time. Nowadays, yeah, I mean you're not getting those rewards anymore. You're getting this. Maybe you're going to get fish. There's that one time they did the fish
If you're
reward.
lucky, if you're lucky, you'll have a plate for whatever they're serving you.
Yeah, yeah.
That still
So
baffles me in 45. It was just a chicken on a table mat. You
yeah,
couldn't even get a paper plate from Crafty.
yeah. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's my guess. I mean that like we've only seen like that's the most memorable thing from her is literally her saying, "No, no, no, I wanted more."
And everyone's like, the fuck you mean snacks? Some of us have only had coconut out here, if
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Uh, well,
People baffle me sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, and also, I mean, we're still on the yellow tribe being purpled. I mean, 4 of them literally had zero confessional episodes at some point. So it's like they're the only people who have had a confessional every episode has been MC and Steven. And MC though had that premiere with only 1 confessional. So I already know she can't win the game, you know. So yeah, all the baskets, all the eggs have to be in the Steven basket if you're so like the one person rooting for the yellow tribe this season.
Yeah, it's like, I guess. It's like,
Yeah.
no. But yeah, so this episode just kind of starts off with it's Sophie screen time and Alex just being like, we're the final 2 of our tribe. Like, what the hell happened? This never happens in Survivor. Like the only times it's ever gone down to like 2 people is Oolong, Matt Singh, uh Uwe tribe, and this, if my
Mhm.
memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, I think so. There's yeah, at least like their original tribe because I know in
Yeah.
45 like yellow went to 3 but then Sean went immediately so it still felt like it went down to 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, like before any swaps
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or so, like, yeah, this was just like
Yeah.
it's something
Also
that we haven't
we
seen in a
also
while.
we saw the return of the shoe bandits this time in the form of the ocean.
Yes. And then, headcanon wise, they might be like, maybe it was the sea the whole time. Or no, the fact that a shoe actually went missing and then ended up being found the very next day is also like, they might actually think that it's something else there. Like they might be
Yeah.
seeing the edit and be like, oh, or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Sophie was like, maybe it has been Alex, or
Yeah.
who knows?
What if Jake has become the monster and now he's out there and he's just going to be taking shoes all season long?
Hmm. You're like, after he was cleared from medical, after he's gotten treated and everything, he's like, you can still steal the shoes. All right,
Yeah.
we can still steal the shoes.
Production liked it so much. Just like, we got to have that all season.
Mhm. That's going to be the next Beware advantage for season 50. You have to collect a shoe from each
Mhm.
of your tribe members and then tie them all together and then throw
Yeah.
them on top of a palm tree.
Yeah, it's gonna be also like the Australian versus the world with Tony Vlachos with his shoe idols.
Mm, yep. Worst fake out in Survivor. I was like, come on, man. This might
Yeah,
work on like a newbie season. Who
yeah.
haven't seen it?
I mean, I think Tony was just having fun. I think Game Changers Tony happened in that season where he just wanted to have some fun.
Yeah. I know we haven't really talked about it too much on this channel. That one, it was very much like, yeah, let's take out all the big alpha dudes first. And then it kind of worked. Definitely worked for like Parv and everyone, but like
Yeah,
that was pretty much the meta of that one. Let's take out all the alpha dudes pre-merge.
yeah, yeah. It was okay. I some people say it's the best season of Survivor of all time, and they're wrong. But you know,
I think it gets better during the merge, and then it's kind of crazy to see Parvati's rise to the W. Best season, no, because also I'm like, I feel like the winner has to be advertised, but not overly advertised. You know?
you want at least like three, maybe four potential winner candidates through most of the season. And they basically told us like episode one, Parvati is winning the game, and then we saw just Parvati win the game. I mean, like it was like we knew.
I agree. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but anyways, back on to this season. So yeah, obviously Alex and Sophie, a lot of depression. No one wants to go on Survivor and be part of the disaster tribe because it
no,
is even if you're one of the survivors and like there's the idea of the intentional match seeing and you maybe get to the end and can have like that story. You don't want to go through it.
no.
You could be Sophie or Alex. You could be Jeremiah in this situation. Like you never know where you're gonna
You
fall.
could be Nicole. The thing is, it's like I always see tribal council as Russian roulette. The more you go statistically, the more likely you are to get your torch snuffed. It's just like
Yeah,
it's just never worth it to go too many times. Yes, you can test trust, and even in this episode, at tribal council, they were like, yeah, like she was like, yeah, you might have been chanting Hina, Hina, Hina all this time. However, like y'all haven't gone to tribal council to see like where you all really stand.
yeah,
And I understand that tribal council is where you build trust. It's just like trust one, you could be the one that's being lied to. You could
yeah.
also be on the disaster tribe, and then it's like, all right, that there's only so many times you can go until like you become one of the big targets.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that there's a chance that next week, though, we're going to have maybe people on both tribes thinking about throwing a challenge just because of how the numbers shook out with this tribe swap. Because, and I'll say like that was kind of annoying is how it came out, where it's like very clear what's going to happen and who is going to be in danger if they go to tribal. And like we got all like talk from like the red tribe saying like there's going to be a war between red and yellow, so obviously they make a shot at yellow. Now the yellow people on the other tribe, they just saw someone on their tribe get taken out by them. They're going to now be like, well, now we have to take out one of these two people. So So I would not be surprised if the yellow people who have the majority are thinking about throwing, and if the red people are thinking about throwing, because there's probably only one more tribal council before Earn the Merge.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to just be like, hey, we have to secure a one of the other tribe people to go out here. Otherwise, we're going to go into Earn the Merge at as four. They're going to have six, potentially having a seventh with Sophie,
Sophie,
and maybe even bringing
Sophie
Alex
screams.
eight.
Yeah.
It becomes very dangerous if you're in that kind of position. So I definitely think that like next week is like one of those times when it makes a lot of sense to throw a challenge just because you gotta like try to secure yourself, because I don't see anyone on the red tribe turning against each other right now. um I don't see anyone on the yellow tribe right now turning. It's very cut and dry that we're either losing Jason next episode or Sage and Shannon.
I think Sage and Shannon definitely with the new Hina tribe. They were saying some stuff about Jawan, but I would say like if we were just to base it off of this episode alone, because I will say also they've been pretty obvious on their next time on Survivor of like who's going home.
Mhm.
Like they haven't been hiding it too much. Like last episode they were like talking like, oh, we're a little sus about Matt, and usually that's like some sort of like misdirection. This one was like, nah, Matt's going home. They
Mhm.
didn't hide who get the medical evac, even though they typically do that. So I think they're becoming a little bit more obvious in their next time on Survivors. So it could be Juwan. However, if we were looking at this episode, because when Hina does lose, like the big complaint about Jason, because it felt like Jason kind of had the golden key to kind of like be, assimilated, also join in on the original Uli tribe, at least for one vote, was because there was like Matt said that, he used to be really big in finance before he was working at
Mhm.
the airport. We also think Matt is playing or very hard. So like all these things, but because he was described by KG by two or three people, they're like, well, can't we actually work with him?
Mhm. Yeah. Also, we got to make sure in that moment we have to give the credit to Savannah. I mean, she's the one that like actually was the only one to ask like, "What do you do before that?" Which caught Matt off guard, and he just spilled the whole beans to everyone. Basically, he just kept going and never say, "I don't know. I was thinking about hiding this, but here I go." Because finance, like yeah, people are going to say, "Oh, you got money," but like then if you say like you were going to hide it, now it's like, "Oh, so you're willing to hide things from people." Like that's more dangerous than knowing that you're from finance.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a quote unquote dangerous profession, or if you had a dangerous profession, you like downplay it. You could have been like, was like because like you I think the tricky thing is sometimes you're out there for so long, you have like no one else to talk to except like producers and Jeff.
Mhm.
But even then, you're not supposed to do it that much. Uh, and so like one a web of lies about your life can be tricky because people will ask about it. Also, it does hurt your game a little bit because it's harder to make those like bonds. People do hide their profession, but it's
Mhm.
like you have to choose one that you have some relatively close connections with. Like, if I go out and say I'm an actor, I might be like, well, I used to say, oh, I was a photographer, but that's something I technically could still do. Or,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'm just like a ride up at a theme park, or stuff like that. Because if I say actor, like, whoa, I could be like, oh, like I've PA'd on stuff. I want to be a director, stuff like that. That's a little less red flaggy. But if they say actor, it's like, can we trust anything he says?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Savannah, though, what a winner's episode this was. I mean, the fact that we went to her and says like, I know we're in a good spot, but also let's show you that I have good connections and I can connect now with these other people who were on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like that is like you give that to your winner who you want to say this person has a social winner is a social winner. Um and yeah, I don't know. Every episode, I just feel like we're constantly being shown that Savannah is definitely winning the season. Um, and Rizzo is going to get the confessionals, but not necessarily winning confessionals. They're just going to have him keep saying Rizgod. He's going to.
Correction, Rizgod, Rizz God, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you would be the one who cares about that.
Oh no, it's funny. My girlfriend and I, we did we have this app called Candle, and it's like questions that you and your partner can do, and it's like like it's kind of like fun stuff. And one of the questions was, who out of the two of you think has more Riz? Um, Candidly, I said her, but she was like, no, you, but like you're so, and she was like, oh, you're just flattering me. I'm like, you're the one that poses like the Rizzler all the time. She's like, I didn't even know who that was. I'm like, okay. But yes. Uh I will say like I haven't seen his aha moment for 50 yet. I feel like with Savannah, I was like, all right, well, I see why. With Rizz God, he's a big personality, but what's that thing that pushes him over um what's that thing that pushes him makes him a cut above the rest apart from recency bias to be a part of Survivor 50 because he very much does stand out. We haven't
Yeah.
really had someone like him on Survivor before. It's like what's that thing where it was like why did you choose him over some of these legends or why did you choose him over some other favorites? It's like and I feel like anyone chosen for Survivor 50, you have to ask that question.
Yep.
Why was this person chose over, like Jerry? Why was this person chosen over Tyson? Why was this person chosen over, like the list can go on. Why would, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can keep going and listing
I
off names.
yeah, and we don't know who the male person he replaced, but we know that like Marianne got replaced by
Yeah.
Savannah. So someone else had
Another winner.
yeah, that's why it's like very clear. Like I don't know why you would replace Mary. Like if Savannah loses the game, you'd think that she would replace like a Tiffany or something like that. Like I don't know, some other non-winner. They chose Marianne.
Yeah. Um,
Which,
so
to be fair, maybe we should be blaming Marianne because she was the one who blasted and basically said like, "Screw you, Survivor! I was supposed to be on the season."
she's a very emotional person.
Yeah,
I mean, also, there's only so many times you can go back on. I do think it
yeah,
would be interesting to see her older because, like, her branding was very much like youthful energy. So it will
yeah,
be interesting to see her come back with, a couple more years on her.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. She's just one of those ones who is like at least an interesting winner. Like as a character. Like I like
Here's Marianne.
yeah, like I like D, but like she wasn't necessarily like a great character. Kyle wasn't really a character. Like, they were just kind of out there. They managed to play a game that got them the win, but like Marianne was like you wouldn't think that she's like winning the season. You think she's just gonna be this fun, wacky person, which that's such a fun thing for that to be a winner. Like it would be great to then bring her in to see what happens now if she gets to be that wacky character, but also as the winner attached to her. But I don't know. I guess we can't have nice things.
No, no, I don't know.
It's also really
We'll
surprising
see.
because I feel like Savannah is playing very much like D. Like I see so much D in her that I'm like, wow, if you were just to like take based off of close archetypes, Savannah and D are like way closer than Savannah and Marianne.
I would say like a little bit of Parvati as well in the sense of
Yeah.
like dominating
Y-
strategic force as
yeah. I'm more just saying like based off of the
of
people on
like the
50.
40 of the new era players.
Yeah. The people who are on 50, like if you were to take, because those were the options originally, were was for your female winners was Marianne and D, like, and so now if you're going to replace one of them because you have another winner coming here, like you would think that you drop D because Savannah and D are closer, then you drop Marianne, who they're very different from each other.
We'll see. I mean, we're still getting to know Savannah a little bit more. I would say that Savannah seems a little bit more cutthroaty, whereas like Dee was cutthroaty to an extent, but
Yeah.
she also
Well,
played a little bit of the Katniss where there was like the little showmance between her and
yeah.
Austin, and then she was like, "Nah, Austin, this was my shit."
I do want to push back on that because remember pre-merge, she wanted to vote out Sifu when Sean was saying I want to quit. Vote me out of the game. So
Yeah,
she in very early on was saying, fuck you, I don't care what you believe. I want this
I
guy
mean,
out.
Sifu, yeah, I mean, yeah, Sifu was already on the bottom. Like her and Janani were very much like the big um targets on there, and then when they swapped and like, oh, we still have these two, like, oh, Sean might be more grateful if we, incorporate him into our tribe. But out of the blue, he was just like, you know what, I'm done. And then they were like, huh? And then it was like, well, it's not a quit. He's just saying to vote him out. Sometimes when people do that, you're always like, are they fucking with me?
Yeah.
There have been times the first ever org I played, Janet Carbon was like, "Yeah, I don't have ping pong balls. I'm not gonna do the rest of this. You guys can vote me out." And there was something in the back of my mind. I'm like, she's a very genuine woman, but is she messing with me right now?
And she wasn't. She just
She
wanted
was not.
everyone.
No.
Yeah. We found out that yeah, Janet will play these games sometimes and just be like, I want out.
We were both on a season with Janet, which is fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would have preferred Mary. I think if even just Marianne, D, and Kyle, those are your three options. The one I want to see most out of those three is Marianne. Like,
I agree.
so
I
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I think 50 has a lot of question marks and like a lot of like different casting decisions, that like that there's some that are right. It's like they got some correct. There just happens to be like also about like the same amount that you're kind of like baffled. You're like, what? Why is this person back?
There are a few where I'm like, interesting. Like, I will say, like, all right, I don't hate on 48 as much as a lot of people, but I do feel like three people from 48 was rather excessive.
Yeah.
Um,
I either bring one or none. Like that's how I feel about that season. Like it did not deserve three spots compared to all these other seasons.
I do agree. I don't know who you cut, because I feel
You
like
definitely
each one
cut
of them.
Kyle. No, you definitely 100% cut Kyle because he just won. Like whatever. He don't bring him right back. He was also not exactly like thrilling TV, so I'm okay with cutting him. And
I
then
liked him,
yeah, you cut either Joe or Camilla based off of gender and who else you have. That would be how I would probably go with it.
but yeah, I will say like. And we'll definitely go over this not only for when we do our analysis for it, but also our brain steals related to the subject as well. Stay tuned for that. But it's like this season with knowing what we know, I feel like they've done it more with Savannah. Rizz God needs to still Yeah, I'm waiting for that move. Now, granted, it's very early in the game, but I'm waiting for that one move that's like, all right, this kind of earns his spot there.
Yeah, and we know now his idol is now also known by Sophi B. So he's that might be a trend. Every episode, he's just gonna start telling people. He's gonna say eventually the whole game is going to know about the idol, and at that point, I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, we saw last season with Eva, who basically told everyone, and then no one wanted to go for her. But also, I mean, everyone I think still was like, oh, we can't vote off her. You know, she has the whole thing with autism, and is like, I think that there's a lot of that going on with Eva as well. Whereas Rizzo doesn't have that; he's just going to have an idol, and it's going to look like a dangerous player potentially in end game scenario with an idol. Like that might seem way more dangerous than what Eva was last season. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, especially like Sophie's good with you now, but we don't know where she might lie in the future. Yeah, you take her in and stuff like that. The thing is, if this trend continues where it's like original Uli versus original Hina, that leaves the power position to Sophie Screen Time and Alex, where it's like, and that's typically what we see happen in these games. It's like they become the swing and they
mm-hmm.
have all the power, and then
and
eventually they get targeted because they're like, oh, they're just playing the middle. Uh,
yeah, and
if
we've already seen
that,
that Savannah and Sophie are going to be best buds probably for the full season.
yeah, brunette buddies,
Yeah,
the short brunette buddies that they were like,
yeah,
oh, we're like the same person. I will say, all right, another thing that kind of irritated me about the idol this episode, I wanted to see the ball and chain again. I
yeah.
was like, that stand out and stuff. This was like very mild compared to that. Like, there's still the stakes of like getting it before tribal council, but when you already have a map to it, the added thing that made it trickier was the ball and chain, and it's very very obvious and very very apparent that you're doing other shit when you should be strategizing.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it was just like, all right, I'm just gonna take a little dip into the ocean in my clothes, and then yeah, get the idol, and
Yeah,
then I think everyone except Jason knows about it. But next
yeah.
time on Survivor, so Jason, I have the idol. So don't bother.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't going to be the ball and chain just because we've seen this in New Era where there's some little twist to like doing it, and they're all different depending on what camp you're in. Um, so I figured it would be different, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Rizzo ended up getting it. It definitely seems like it just takes about 10 to 15 minutes of your time away from strategizing to be able to get
Yeah.
your idol, which I don't know. I remember like when Tiffany had to like solve puzzles and and also go dig around like that's stressful, like solving a puzzle on the clock like that. So
Like getting the beats.
yeah,
Like I still think one of the most iconic Beware advantages was because the first two, I think the password one was like fine, but also it's like it does restrict you because like,
yeah,
oh, if you're about to go to tribal council and fight, you're kind of screwed.
yeah,
Whereas this one is like, all right, you're not dependent on other people doing it.
yeah,
Like Cody trying to get the beats for his idol, I still think is a very, very iconic move where he's just like, he's just being his natural self too, wanting to make the hat
yeah,
and everything. Uh, I miss stuff like that where it was just like, oh, okay, they kind of have to do something a little bit crazier for the idol hunt. We saw that in like 47 as well. They had to kind of do a few things. Or
yeah,
in 42, they did have um, with Drea, you have to be caught red-handed, where it's just like,
yeah.
looks like a trap from Saw, where you have to pretty much put your hand in like a blood capsule to get your idol.
Yeah, I want them to bring back what they did in 31, where like an idol can be hidden in the challenge. Like they find the clue, and then they'll see where it will be, because like that adds a lot of fun to the challenge.
Yes.
Also, I want to see it ran enough where like people are getting caught. because we're usually seeing people be pretty stealthy and like, or we're not being told like they have been seen with it. I do want to see people just get caught red-handed, like actually.
I think that did happen in one season of Australia Survivor.
Okay.
But yes, I think it's one of those things where it is very risky. Like even when the first time we saw it in 31 with Wentworth, where she went
Mhm.
back and did it, that is like open in front of like everyone. I know everyone, both tribes were like focused on, not being the first tribe to go to tribal council, but that is still like if
Mhm.
you're like kind of looking back because you're friends with like Kelly and you're like, oh yeah, we're close. And then you just see her do that, or like you turn your head to like look at someone else, you'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, what the heck you doing?
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, I think it's an iconic moment. Like that's what like started the Wentworth like legend status was right there. And then we just didn't do it. Like the next time I can remember honestly is like Elaine and Island of the Idols with the block vote, but
yes.
like like why was that not something that they kept doing? Because it
I think
literally birthed the legend.
I mean they've had advantages hidden at like the sit out bench. They've
Yeah,
there was the
yeah,
whole thing in I mean, you're completely remiss if, yeah, I mean, like, you're completely forgiven if you forget the partial idol thing at in 35 where you have to get like the little seashell that's in front of your stand. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like that was it's not a very memorable season, and that was like it didn't really have the payoff. Um, except for hey, this is coming back for Ghost Island because
yeah.
it was a thing that didn't work. But yeah,
Yeah, no. I don't know. I just think it's just good. I don't know why Survivor sometimes just does something that's really good and then says, "Nah, I not anymore. Let's go
like
back.
the do or die.
Yeah, let's go back. Do or die. That's needed to die forever. That nah. The fact whoever said that in the pitching ideas, like they needed to lose their job.
No, no, no. Okay, that's too much.
If you pitch that and the hourglass, if I want to know if one person was the one who
Hourglass
pitched,
was
if one person pitched both of those ideas, that person should not be working at Survivor. I'm just going to say it.
they I wouldn't listen to them anymore. I'm like, no, Hourglass. I'm like, it's funny because I remember talking to Bryce at a Bryce and Wen, and he actually enjoyed the Hourglass twist. And I'm like, but why? I was like, it's Survivor. You always got to be on your toes. But I'm like,
No.
but it's just like a big screw you to the winning team
Uh,
because, like, that's like the one thing you have is like, hey, if I win, I'm safe. And then it's like, but you got to be on your toes. Like, no, I'm like,
no.
I can't. Like,
That is the answer you give if you want to be back on Survivor, is what he was doing right there. Is that he was trying to
so
be very political, even though, and he's not going to give you any real answer. Like that's not a real answer. That is just you trying to say, no, it's awesome. I love it. Jeff Probst, you're amazing. Production, wow, you guys never make any mistakes. Your editing is awesome. The right winner always wins. You guys know exactly what to do. Please let me on the show again.
there is no war embossing.
Well,
But yeah. Um, trying to think of, I will say this episode, I do want to focus on what a part of the reason I was hoping Kayla would lose again was because I did find this little interaction between Shannon and Sage very interesting. It's kind of
yeah,
like, wait, we know each other, whereas like Matt and Jason were a little kid. Like Matt even was like, hey, maybe we can go for Nate. This one, it was like, nah, straight up, we're going after each other. And we've heard this before with like Shannon, where it's like, yeah, we think that, yeah, there's the spirituality that she brings and religious part of her, which is good, but she might be leaning into that to lower her threat level, but it seems to be doing the exact opposite. And then also Sage, who like they could have like trauma bonded over being, the only two over there, but Sage is like, nah, fam, I see right through that. But
yeah,
the irony is, I think Sage is doing something similar, but more in a Carolyn kind of way.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I do think that Shannon is more likely to get taken out if they
Yeah,
do go. I mean, the edit literally was like very much trying to have Sage be the one who was saying like the right things in terms of like all that kind of stuff. And also, I just think that if you look at them, Sage is going to look as less threatening than Shannon. I mean, we literally saw Steven say like, "I can't really trust Shannon." It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of situation where, it all seems, like, oh, she's doing all this, but could be something else hiding behind those eyes. Whereas Sage, you know exactly what she is thinking all the time. And she
yeah,
lets us know. She's like, if I'm mad, I'm gonna look mad. Like, there's no hiding it. And I think for the Yellow Tribe, I mean, I think they'd rather have someone who you can tell everything that they're going to be thinking on the other side than someone who's going to, just immediately go back and hide and lie and do all that kind of stuff. So it's
oh
very
yeah.
likely that Shannon. I would say Shannon is in a lot of trouble next episode. I think there's a good chance that that tribe will go because we were also built the story between those two, and I think if that tribe doesn't go, then I don't know if we get this story of these two going at it right now.
At the very least, it could have. I don't know because like I know in Survivor, we have seen in the new era sometimes a new era or new era is that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they will if a tribe is dominating, they will offer someone up at the Earn the Merge as kind of like a tribute to be like, hey, we're willing to play ball. Here's our
Mm-hmm.
most expendable person. And
Mm-hmm.
they, you know, throw them like they're Gamora to get the Soul Stone. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're cool. We can work, right? Um, so I don't know. Shannon I don't know. I feel like she's safe if she goes back with her Uli peeps.
Yeah.
I will say it is playable because even though Sophie is good with them right now, and she does say she's very loyal, it also is like, well, Alex is building bonds over there too, and it's like ultimately where do they want to go? Especially if they feel like they're the bottom of eight, do they want to go over to old Hina and be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we can actually be like, hey, us seven working together or something like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, whatever Alex is doing over there, just bond wise, not mattering in this game. I
Yeah.
can't tell you who he is closest with on that tribe, but I can for sure tell you that Sophie is close to the winner of the season, Savannah.
Yes.
So,
Sophie screen time, not I
yeah,
feel like other Sophie should be called Sophie Bananas because
yeah.
it does match their last names, right?
Yeah, I kind of want to give the nickname, to be honest, to the one that's not getting screen time, just because we're going to not talk about them much, and we're going to be talking about the other Sophie more. So I
So
want,
Sophie Bananas.
yeah, Sophie Bananas, because yeah, it'll just be easier. We'll barely have to talk about her if we do this, so that's great.
All right. So you heard it here first. Sophie B's nickname is now Sophie Bananas because of
Yeah,
that whole incident. Like
yeah.
that's her legacy so
it,
far until
it
we
yeah
see
it
otherwise.
took till episode 4 for anything interesting to happen with her, so here we are.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say through fault of her. It's just
Yeah.
editing has very much
the,
chosen.
I will 100% always believe this. Do not put the same people with the same name on a season and not one of them have a nickname, because we're getting it right here. We have to see Sophie B, because clearly, she was on the disaster tribe. She survived it. She's aligned with Savannah. You can't, your average audience can't, like, they're just going to get confused if both Sophies are being shown a bunch. Like, they're going to be like trying to talk about it, and they're going to have to always be talking about which one's which, and it's just it becomes confusing. So it makes you have to have one of them just not be on the season. And because Sophie S is, I'm just assuming, going to do worse than Sophie B, is going to not have as much stuff going on. We're gonna. I think maybe max confessional she'll have in this entire season, and this is like she can make it far. Is like 12 to 15. Like that's around like max level.
That's the trajectory we are seeing right now. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. That's like her making like a final seven, final six scenario. I still can see her having that many confessionals.
Yeah. Um, all right. This challenge, what were your I did find it this challenge was interesting because it didn't have your like standard like puzzle or anything at it. It was very
Yeah.
much stacking blocks at the end, which I think was kind of a interesting twist because we haven't really seen anything like this in a while.
Yeah.
Especially where it's like, hey, this goes crazy high up. How do you do this without knocking your stuff over?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it was fine. I'll be honest. I think I was watching the challenge, but I was kind of like not. I don't know. It wasn't super captivating to me. I was just like, okay, let's just move on.
Me, I'm like, is Kayla gonna mess up and then go back to
Yeah,
tribal council? Is that
yeah,
just cursed? Is Sophie cursed? And that because like those are the things you kind of like are going in and like for me, I'm excited because I'm like, all right, this one might not be like we're gonna see not a disaster tribe. We're gonna see like a tribe with like six new people, and Jeff even mentioned it going to tribal council for the first time. And how are they going to interact? How are they going to do things? And then so like I'm excited. Like I'm supposed to like I'm getting ready for my last set of the night, and I'm just like looking and like, all right, who's gonna win this thing?
mhm,
So I don't think it was as like boring or like all right. I was like I'm genuinely like trying to figure out who's gonna win this thing,
mhm.
and then obviously I'm like, let it be the team that has less of let it be the team that has less of your players. I want the more Joe, the
I
more likely
I
for
think the
sure.
reason I didn't care is I just figured that the team that had the more red original red players were going to go to tribal and take out a yellow. Like I just like that's just where the edit was going in terms of like what we were being told even before this episode. Like we were getting the perspective of the reds wanting to go to war against the yellows. And I
Yeah,
and because we're getting their perspective, it makes it just know like, okay, well, they got to make the first strike. We could lose a red next episode, like that's possible, but like the first strike between them has to be the reds making it against the yellows.
yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's going to be at the very least the overarching story for this portion of
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. So
Uh,
far, I mean, my biggest criticism of the season is I just feel like everything is very predictable. Like everything is kind of coming out exactly how we'd imagine it to come out, and there's not too much differences going on. Like it's very cookie cutter in terms of how a season of Survivor could go out.
I think that's fair. I mean, sometimes good gameplay is not always entertaining to watch. It's like
Yeah.
on paper, if we vibe with most of these people, yeah, let's target the people that kind of got swap screwed. Or,
Mhm.
like, or like, hey, this person, is vomiting right now on day three. Let's take them out. Hey, this person is trying to target my number one. Let's take them out. Hey, Alex has an idol. I don't want to target him. Let's go after it. Yeah. So like it makes sense on like the thing that
Yeah.
like the game moves I am seeing right now makes sense. No one is doing anything that I would say is like reckless or no one has gotten big move-itis this early on. Like they're not being like, you know what? We
Yeah.
didn't see Jawan be like, you know what? Actually, yeah, let's get rid of Nate. No, like Jawan
Yeah.
was like, are you crazy? I'm not gonna get rid of Nate.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, which is crazy because Jawan was on the bottom. So
He wasn't privy to that
yeah,
though.
yeah, I know, but it is one of those things where it's like, oh wow, if he knew, like, yeah, you should have been, game for that. But also, they needed to get Sophi B, and that just we knew that that wasn't going to happen. We knew that everything Matt was saying wasn't going to happen.
No.
uh,
And this is why also I was like the next time on Survivor did kind of spoil it a little bit because I was like they were like, oh, we're worried about Matt. And then like Matt goes and yeah, so I'm starting to be like next time on Survivor, he I don't know, like I feel like there's always the risk of like a spoiler of some kind, but usually they've been good about like having a little misdirection with it. This one there'll be like, yeah, this happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, what you were saying with like the Jake stuff. Normally, if someone's like gets injured or something, it will just be like the end of this ride will be like, oh no, a snake, or like something like that. And so we know that a snake will be in the episode, but we don't know exactly who it's biting. Whereas we literally knew Jake was the one who got bit by a snake, who everyone was like, that's a really poisonous snake. Like he can't be in the game now.
Yeah.
uh,
So I hope they get better with that. I don't know how much they listen slash care about the online chatter, but I feel like that's a big thing too, where it's like that's part of the fun is like not knowing and then like this. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the problem with watching sometimes the next time on Survivor. I mean, we could always turn off Survivor, and then, uh,
I feel like we do a disservice to it though because it's
yeah,
part of like the speculation for what's going to happen
yeah,
next.
true, true, and also sometimes the people's final words are can be interesting.
Yeah,
Most of the time not, but sometimes usually deeper in the game.
it's
If
their last moments of screen time.
Yeah, I think if people are deeper in the game, they'll usually have more interesting things to say than if you go out super early and are just like, oh, it was fun to be out here. I got But whereas if you go out at like final six, yeah, you're gonna have way more emotions and thoughts about what everything that happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of pre-merge stuff is they're sad that they're pre-merge or like
Yeah.
they give credit to someone else. This is another thing I wanted to bring up because Hina has been also called out for chanting their name. And
Yeah.
then even we see Sophie be like, Hina, Hina, Hina during I'm like and then Rizzo also called it cringe when they did that. It is very interesting to see this happen,
Mhm.
where Tribe is just being like chanting their own name, and for the most part, that has been like the dominant force of season 49. But now it's like, okay, they're kind of fractured. Uh, and now people are like kind of like mocking. Do you think that hurts their chances when it comes to the merge? Because like if they're chanting their name and they're having a good time,
Oh
do
yeah.
you
No,
think that kind of like isolates Sophie and Alex for wanting to join with them?
yeah, never be that happy with your tribe pre-merge. I mean, just straight up, you want people on other tribes to think that you want to work with them. Like if you're that into it, it makes it feel like they're against you. And if and now they're at five, I mean they're not, I don't think they're going to get the numbers. I mean, we literally know that it's going against. So I think Alex is totally down to take them out. They're also been the ones winning the challenges. Like even though we had Matt and Jason go here, four people from the original Hija still haven't gone to tribal. Like they still have one there. I just think that if you're playing Survivor and you're winning, you have to be humble. You can't you have to be very much like, yeah, we're just lucky that we're in this position, but at any moment, like we're open to working with other people. And like we literally saw with Jason like not willing to say I'm willing to work with you. He wants to work with his
Yeah,
Hina people. Like that is impressively bad.
even if it's bullshit,
Yeah.
even if you're a bad liar, it's better than just being like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
because like the very least, it's like you at least it's like being so adamant about not doing something is worse
Yeah.
than lying about it and being caught in the lie because like
Yeah.
it's like one, it's like you're flat out rejecting any notion. If you're at least lying about it, it's like even if you don't ignore it, you're at least humoring what the person has to say.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think it's just like basic Survivor. Like if you've watched Survivor, I feel like you should know if you're going into being on the bottom, you are going to do whatever you can to make the people on the top not want to vote you. And one of the easiest ways is to say, I'm so glad that I'm on this tribe with you. Because now that person can be like, oh, okay, there can be something here that I can like form and it's worth getting to know this person. If you say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not voting my people. I love my original tribe. I'm going to play my shot in the dark because I'm just going to." Yeah, I mean, you're just you're basically saying, "Please take me out
Yeah,
at your earliest
the
convenience."
the fact that you're saying shot in the dark, that means like, no, I refuse to even. I will say he saved himself a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
by ultimately not playing a shot in the dark and then voting for Matt.
yeah,
If he voted for, well, I mean, like, just with how because like if you're on the bottom two of a seven-person drive, I don't think it's too out of the I don't think it's too out of the realm of possibility that the five split their votes in case of two shot in the darks being played, or if one of them has an idol. I don't think it's
yeah,
that um, too much of a stretch to think.
yeah.
So
What I think is going to happen is I think next episode we're going to lose Shannon, and then I think the earn of the merge is going to happen, and they're going to take out Jason. And I think Jason's going to be this earn the merge boot. Um,
I think it's
so
possible.
yeah,
It's tough to say because like depends on what they're doing for the earn the merch. I know in the last couple of season, it's just essentially just the merge, but they don't put that label on it because it was like, oh, it's cool if they earn their buffs. It's like if it's
yeah,
not the specific like two different tribes, half of them are immune and the other isn't, you're essentially just doing, you know, a regular merge. The
yeah,
other one, I'm like, the earn the merge is an idea I can get behind where I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or what we did in our brand seal for Casino, or not brand seal, our org of Casino Royale, where we're like, hey, technically any of you can already earn your spot in the merge. You just all have to do this challenge. And whoever
yeah.
completes it gets immunity and locks it in.
Yeah, which is so funny
Um,
because in that, we had 5 minutes to build a house of cards, and then in our long-term org, when people had as much time as possible, no one could do it.
yeah, granted,
It is tough.
I
I'm
think
going to say building a house of cards is very difficult, but when you have a lot of time, I mean, at some
else
point,
to watch. I
yeah,
don't blame because sometimes it is dependent on like the kind of cards you have. Some
yeah,
are better than others,
yeah.
just based on like the card stock you have. Uh, I will have to. I still think one of my favorite moments from our long orm for battle camp is when our winner Beth was like,
Oh
"I'm
my god.
like washcloths on," which was brilliant, and I wish that was allowed, but I was like, no,
that
you can't
that
use
was in
anything
that was
else.
in our rules. Yeah, if we
Yeah,
hadn't said anything, we would
I
have had to allow it. But
I very flat out said it was like you can't use anything, no adhesives, no nothing that isn't the cards.
yeah,
Now, if they wanted to like rip some up to like make creases for that,
mm,
I don't think that helps out that too much. But in theory, they could do that, where they can
yeah,
rip it and then kind of like make little slots, or even cut with scissors. They could, in theory. I don't know
yeah,
how well that would work out, but
yeah,
that was the only like creative thing they could have done if they
yeah,
were having just too much difficulty.
yeah. Okay, is there anything else we need to talk about for this episode? We've already been talking for a bit here, but
Yeah.
that's anything else that stood out to you?
stood out to me. I know I touched it a little bit, but like I did really enjoy the moment of Kristina talking about like her mom and stuff.
Mhm.
I know like it's partially it did seem like very genuine between the two. Um, but I also know like so there have been people in my life that have like struggled with addiction and stuff. And then so I do this might be just completely unrelated, but like it is something where I'm like, you know, it is something where that is a problem that we do have. And I'm glad they like kind of like shed some light on it that, it can literally happen to anyone. And even if they've lived a full life like Christina's mom did, it's still like can be taxing and cost your
Yeah.
life. It wasn't like I'm not trying to be sounding PSA, but I did like, like I did kind of like feel in that moment. And I think it is an important one.
Yeah, I just wish that she didn't get goose egged the last two episodes because
Yeah.
when you have an emotional moment like this come out of someone who you've basically been told don't worry about this person, it does feel like a little bit out of nowhere. Like I wish that they had built her up to have this moment instead of just like nothing and then here's this moment.
Yeah, like even with Sage, we got a lot of like screen time with Sage. And then like last episode, not this one, it was like, yeah, I've always been kind of like seen as the weird kid, but I'm not gonna stop being me.
Yeah.
But it does like hurt being isolated like that. Like that's a very like human thing. And we got the build up to it because Sage was shown a lot more and stood out as a
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah. Do you know how many confessionals Sage got, by the way?
Didn't she only get like one confessional this
Yeah,
episode?
she only got one confessional, but it felt like very important that she was to the story of that tribe. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That just clearly the winner is still not on that tribe. That's uh, I Survivor. I know
These,
you can
all
do
right.
it. I know you can do it. I know you can make multiple people feel like they can be winners. You've done it before. What happened? What happened to you,
I don't know,
Survivor?
man. I think I don't know. I'm not no, but it is interesting. Yeah, I know you our biggest like joke slash your worry going into this was that, oh, I'm just gonna draft a bunch of duds and then you're not gonna like lose anyone, or like we had like a thing, it was like you only
Yeah.
win because you had Savannah. I was like, well, at least you've lost three people. I've only lost two, one of which was medevac. So I did want to
Yeah,
mention is like the
but if you
balance.
do look at the what where my draft order was, I'm losing people at like the end of my draft. You did lose your unofficial winner pick.
I picked someone that I thought was going to go far. If I didn't know anyone was coming back from this, it probably would have been a different story. It's hard
Yeah.
to say because I don't know where my mindset would be,
Yeah.
but because since last year at season 46, they're like, "Hey, Survivor 50," and they've been hyping it up for so
Yeah.
long, completely overshadowed, not completely, but overshadowing like 3 seasons, uh, four if you count 46 that was like already kind of currently going on.
Yeah.
But the very least, 46 got itself established before they hyped up 50.
Yeah, I wonder if this is similar to like in baseball. You know, you have different pitches that you do, and you do different types to like throw people off. I wonder if this is like supposed to be a slow pitch kind of season, so that way then they can throw a heater next season. So they're just like choosing to throw like have like a very predictable by the book by the number season so that way when next season happens and they try to do the same thing and then it does end up happening, people will be like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming.
Like, uh, it's possible. I don't know. I feel like you're doing such a disservice to so many, one, your fans,
Yeah.
because Survivor has gotten a lot of shit recently for not being as good as it used to be. And I mean, it's not just Survivor. I think there's a lot of things like, the MCU has been getting a lot of shit for that. Even when they give us
Yeah.
like decent stuff or good things, it just kind of is like, all right, you're in the right direction. But if they see something else that they don't like they're like, all right, Deadpool Wolverine, we're on track. All right, Thunderbolts, we're on track. Brave New World, no. But it's like, it's like all it or I actually liked Ironheart. I thought it was an interesting one, but not everyone did, and they were like, no. Um, it's like for brand, you want consistency and you want it
Yep.
to be, especially if Survivor was something that redefined like television, something that inspired so many different things. Like without that, we wouldn't have had Lost. We wouldn't have had, like I feel like it's something that really helped make reality competition
Yeah.
shows like mainstream, especially in the early 2000s. And if it wasn't for Survivor keep doing what it's doing, it's had such a big resurgence. I would say pandemic onwards
Yeah.
was, and that's a lot because Survivor was so successful, and like that it was something where every show was kind of like use that as kind of like their standard. Like, all right, we need something that is in the same vein or is just as good or can be as good as this, but we have our own spin and rules, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think also like a lot of the issue right now is just casting. I think they're right now so focused on getting likable super fans. Like those specific things. They want like your entire cast to be full of likable super fans, which yeah, it's cool if you're one of them, but guess what? The reason Survivor did so well is you had a bunch of people who had never really watched the show, but they were down to just be, assholes and like go against each other and like throw shit at the wall if they think that they're maybe in danger. We saw no fight from Jason or Matt, really. They kind of just said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let's just see what happens. And then that's what happened. Like there wasn't,
The
like
thing is,
they,
we don't have villains
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Like, I'd say the closest person we got to a villain was Rome, and
yeah.
he was very much more
We
tongue in cheek.
we had Rome and we had Say, and they both went out early in their seasons.
I don't
And
even consider Say a villain. She just spoke her mind.
she was absolutely. I mean, she
And
was
like
definitely
in
a villain.
hindsight, I might have said it sometime during it, but if I'm looking back, she was just she was a player that spoke her mind and
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. A
was
lot
for
of a lot
TV.
of villains in Survivor are just speaking their minds. You might not agree with what they're doing, but they're speaking their minds in a way that other people are wish that they weren't speaking their minds, and that's what Say was doing, and that's a villain. But and guess what? Once she leaves 48, man, what a fucking terrible season that is. Like it just
She brought so much entertainment. One of my favorite moments was when it was going for the when they were going for the advantage at Earn the Merge. And then you just see, like I'm forgetting her name, but she was just like slowly going towards it, and then she just comes running out like
yeah.
crazy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
grab it.
and that's why 48 seemed like it had potential was because if Say made it deep into the game, that like it could have been an interesting season. The second she goes out, it goes from maybe a potential like 80-85% of 100 season to like a 20-25%. Like it loses so much of the value the second that she left the season.
Yeah, I agree. Um, like that's even why some people were speculating bring her back for 50, even though she was
Yeah,
earn the merge boot.
yeah,
But I was like, I get why not bringing back anyone that was like pre-merge, especially in the new era. Like,
yeah.
I get it, but
I don't know. I
um,
mean, we've seen it happen where they bring back pre-merge people and then they are, significantly better. I mean,
they way
Wentworth is
better.
the
Yes,
big one. Michaela comes back as well. I mean,
not
like,
merge, but like pre-jury as well. Boston
yeah,
Rob,
yep,
love him or hate him, he he's one of the biggest names in reality competition, and he did go out right before the jury. So
yeah,
it's like say what you want about him.
It's about
He
it's
had less
about
of a
the
heart.
players
He
more than
got
the placements. I think that that's one of the issues is that they cared way more about placements in casting of 50 than they cared about what people they're actually bringing.
I think I disagree to some extent. I think maybe this is a conversation for, I think, more of when we get to season 50. I think it could be a contributing factor because it's like they could be like, why the heck did we not get I'm trying to think of someone um recent. It was like because there are some people, obviously it's not an all finalist season and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There are some people who are icons or some people who have not reached finale or like, yeah, like let's think it was like someone could be like, why the heck is Emily Flippin here and not such and such? Where it was like, no, Emily Flippin was very entertaining, a good representative of her season,
Yeah.
and that's why she's there. And like I think there's no one there that I'm like, I don't want to see. There's no one, maybe Ozzy because we've seen Ozzy a
Yeah.
bunch.
Ozzy shouldn't be on the season, but yeah.
We've seen Ozzy a bunch, but I do feel like they could have used two or three slots to show, get some representation from the 20s. The fact that it was like, hey, Token Cheens, BB2, BBB2. And I'm like, okay, what? All right.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy too because it's supposed to be a celebration of 50 seasons of Survivor, but like,
An entire 5 years off the.
yeah, and then
Granted, I know
also
that some people
if you
showed up.
like New Era, it's also crazy that we only got Jonathan in 41, 42, 43, and 44. Like we like it's crazy that they just said screw this. Like there were
Johnny and
some
Jesse
interesting
Lopez,
Jesse and Omer should have been like,
Omer.
yeah, Marianne. I mean, like
I would have loved to
genuinely,
see Jam Jam again.
yeah,
Um,
Carolyn, Carson. Like there
I
were
know Carson
people.
is a little hot water with production,
Yeah,
but like still, it's like
yeah.
you have
Shan Ricard. I mean, like, come on.
this. I know like Shan went to the challenge, but she didn't do great on the challenge USA.
Uh-huh.
But like Ricard was like, even though he was a little under-edited that season, he still made a big impression and was like someone
Yeah,
where I think if you look at like the top players from 41, I know that was a season that it's
yeah,
on the bottom for a lot of people for at the very least new era
yeah,
of like, you did have Ricard, you did have Danny McRae, you had Shan, you had a lot of cool storylines or like potential there.
yeah.
But like I would say like the top three from that season are those three.
Yeah. I think 41 and it sucks because I think that that's the season why Survivor started going like, oh, maybe people don't like villains because 41 wasn't well received. We didn't like 41 because of what you did production, not because of the villains.
It was so jarring with I think the challenges and then
Yeah.
I think it was really the challenges. I will say or not the challenges, the advantages, the hourglass twist, the fact that you had an entire episode where no one got eliminated, and then had us wait an entire week to watch an episode where we're already
Yeah.
kind of pissed off of a very obvious choice,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah. Do you want to be safe or not safe? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
because no one, because it's like I know it's like you're not, yeah, you're making six people mad, but you can't, like, if that happened to me, I
Yeah.
can't blame, I'm not going to blame Erica or Roxroy for making that decision. That's the decision you have to make.
Yeah.
You would be
Yeah, if you don't do that you might
foolish to do it
you're gonna
otherwise.
miss out on jury because also remember you're away there for an entire day while everyone else is on the merge basically getting to talk and like strategize, probably throw you under the bus. Like you gotta just say, hey, I just want to be on the jury, just let me at least get to the jury off of this.
Especially like Erica. Erica was like like the Blue Tribe did not go a single time during pre-merge, and they were very much like if they did, Erica was going to be the person they cut,
Mhm.
if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, it's I will say one of the brand steals. I'll let you guys peek behind the curtain a little bit. I do want to do is like Survivor 50 what if. Well, not
Mhm.
what if, but like people we thought were worthy of it that didn't get on. Because I think
Mhm.
that would be like a cool little brand steal for us to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. But as for this episode and this season, I think this episode we've covered pretty much everything except for confessional counts, and then MVP, LVP.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the confessionals then.
all right.
Okay, so topping the chart still, we got Alex at 31 confessionals. By the way, Matt went out at 13 confessionals, so at least he got to double digits there. Um,
Not the Bonu bar though.
Not the Banu bar, not at all. We haven't had anyone close to a Banu bar pre-merge person this season. Um,
No.
and then second confessionals, we got Sophi B at 29 confessionals. Uh,
Yeah, she got like a butt ton this episode.
yeah, she got six, so
Yeah,
a pretty good amount. Savannah is now in third with 25 confessionals. She got 12 this episode.
it makes sense.
Yep, yep. And then fourth place, we got Rizzo at 22 confessionals.
RIZGOD, Rizz God baby.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to just play a fun game. Who do you think is the next highest confessional?
I'm gonna say Nate.
Nope.
Jawan.
Yep, you got it right there. At 12 confessionals, we got Jawan. Whole 10
It's a big
confessionals
jump.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then next up we got Nate at 10 confessionals. And then everyone else here has single digit confessionals here. So next we got Steven and Shannon are tied at 9 confessionals. It
Okay.
looks like MC is next at 8 confessionals. Sage is next at 7 confessionals.
Several.
Shut up. And then we have a tie here with 5 confessionals between Kristina and Jason. And then
Makes sense.
in last place we got Sophie Bananas or Sophie S.
Sophie Bananas. Her
Yeah.
canonical name.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I feel like I'm not. I would say the few things that the one thing that really surprised me is I thought Nate would have had a little bit more.
he
Granted,
is
I feel like
getting
he wasn't
he's getting
as heavily
consistent.
featured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's getting a few here or there, but he's not he hasn't had a breakout episode in terms of confessionals.
that is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
All right. MVP and LVP. MVP. Um, you know what? I'm gonna get it to Alex. Alex finally won a challenge.
Oh,
He has had a breath of life of this game, and he finally got fire. He's making new friends that he probably will blindside. But I feel like it's out. Like Alex, I'm pretty sure you're gonna say someone else. So like, just so we have more variety, I'm gonna say
okay.
Alex.
It's funny because I'm going to go with the other Kelly OG person. I'm going to go with Sophie B, just because
Yeah,
she does go to tribal again. She's building up that resume, that story of if she gets to the end, she has Denise Stapley winner potential.
yes,
Um, even if they win next immunity, like this streak that she's had now, and is more impressive because even though Alex, like he now has like a little bit of a break before his next one, Sylvie has been for 8 days grinding to make sure that she's still in this game. Plus, she's
and
now close to Savannah, the winner of the season. So
like just in good
yeah,
like wasn't even an option for like the original Uli because
yeah,
there was a world where they could have been like, I'm worried about a duo later. They could be like, you could also be cursed. Bye.
Yeah.
There is a realm of possibility where that could happen,
Yeah.
but
I
like she
yeah.
didn't. She
I think
made the right bonds,
the only
and she got her
world
shoe back.
yeah, yeah. And the only world she goes out next episode is they go for Jason, and someone's like, what if Jason plays a shot in the dark correctly? And then one vote goes over to Sophie just to like secure that it's not any of the Uli members. But even then, I mean,
Yeah.
that's such a low probability of that end up happening, especially based off of how the season has been edited. LVP, I'm going to give it to Jason. I think he blundered super bad. I think I mean, everyone on the Ulu tribe is not going to want to work with Jason. He's going to become probably a top target for them moving forwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. He did save himself by like saying, "All right, I am willing to play ball by voting for Matt." I will give it to Matt for these reasons. One, revealing the finance thing.
Yeah.
Whether he was like either way, like he revealed that and he even knew like this could get me in trouble.
Yeah.
To and like he did that also being at the like not having the numbers, only having like two people, maybe one more if you get Sophie on your side. But why would Sophie go with that? And then also being like, hey, anyone but me to someone, and then being later like, yeah, I think we're gonna go after Nate, who is in the numbers and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like in that situation, unless you have like an idol, a steal a vote, or something like that, it's hard for you to do that. It's like that. I don't want to say it's best to just go after one of the other two,
Yeah.
but like he even said doing that, and then he got called. It was just like he was kind of like grasping for like grasping like for any kind of thing to hold on to, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
he could have leaned into just targeting Jason if he was picking up the vibe a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely fair. I think those were the only two options that could really be LVP of this episode.
Maybe Sophie Bananas, but
Yeah,
even then,
even that. I mean, that's just that. Like,
the edit has given her. I feel
yeah,
like the edit has punished her enough.
yeah. It's also crazy that Jason. I mean, he was one of the options to go, and he only got one confessional this episode. Like,
Yeah,
that's just crazy.
what can you do?
Okay, well that does it for this episode of the Day After Podcast. Let's hope that it keeps trying to pick up because we're still in the waiting period right now on the season. But
Well, we are, but so as you know, I'm a
mhm,
Pokemon fan, so like that's probably why I was wearing the hat. But also, we have an announcement if you guys haven't been paying or you haven't been looking at like our community stuff.
mhm,
Joe and I will be going up against the Tribe of Nerds of Jake and Austin in a Soul Link. What that means is we can only capture one Pokemon per route. Joe and I have to make sure they don't have the same typing, like main
mhm.
type. And we have to build a team around that, and we can't repeat types. And if a Pokemon faints, not only does, like, if my Pokemon faints, not only does my Pokemon faint, but Joe's Pokemon faint
Yeah,
will also faint and be considered dead and unusable for the rest of the run.
yeah. You're gonna
So
screw me over. I can already tell.
please, Mister, I want to use a Pidgey.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
I'm gonna I'm gonna win with Pidgey and Furret. Okay, and you're gonna deal with it.
I told you even the strategy on how to do that, and you refuse to.
Because they're so good, they don't need strategy. Okay, they're gonna use their
Base
brawn.
stat total will suggest otherwise.
Their base stats are going to be you're going to be shocked.
Ferret was only good in Pokemon Go for VG or for PvP for a little. I don't know what it is now, but like that was like the only time I've ever seen it usable,
I'm gonna
and it was
teach.
only
I'm
for
gonna
very
teach.
specific.
I'm gonna teach for it rollout, and it's going to roll out and win every fight.
I will say its most useful thing, I believe it gets pickup, which is an ability that gets you items. So
Well, that
it
sounds
could
boring. I don't want that.
it's very close. At the, at the very least, Joe, you get stuff you can sell.
Yeah, I don't
All
need
right,
that.
Let me see what Furret no.
Okay, no, no,
We lost.
we can talk about this out. Let's not give Jake
No,
and
no, no, no. I'm
no,
doing it now.
no, no.
Chekhov's. It does actually not enough pickup. It knows
Yeah,
Runaway, which actually might be useful. Frisk, where that's really only important in competitive play. And then Keen Eye, where your accuracy cannot be lowered, which is actually pretty good.
yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna. It's gonna win. Trust me. Don't even worry about
I'm
it.
looking up its base stats right now.
Don't even worry about
It
it.
is speedy.
Yeah, see, it's
It
speedy.
has that base 90, which
Yeah.
is okay,
Oh, it's more
but
than
it is
okay.
trail, and its attack isn't really there.
I
I will
think
find a strategy that will work for you
I think you're making stuff
with
up.
this.
I think it's the strongest Pokemon out of them all. I think it could take on Articuno. It could take
Listen,
on
it's not
Mewtwo.
Bidoof. Bidoof can do anything. If you were making this argument for Bidoof, I would be totally 100% behind you. But
No, I
there
gotta
is
get Furret
something
so I can sing the Furret song when I catch it.
I'm trying to look at some things that could help you out here.
Okay, okay. Like I said, let's do this later. I really have to use the restroom. I'm just gonna be completely honest. So let's do this. Let's do this later, Ryan. And besides, who needs to strategize? We're just gonna win.
I know what we're going to do, but we use that with strategy.
Yeah. Okay, well, that does it here for this episode of the Day After Podcast. Stay tuned for our Soul Link here, and we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.